What if the voice inside your head is quietly shaping every result in your life? What if the reason you feel stuck has less to do with your circumstances and more to do with how you speak to yourself? And what if changing your life could begin with changing your words for just 3 days? Most people never realize the powerful impact their self-talk has on their lives. They move through each day allowing that inner voice to run unchecked, repeating thoughts that tear them down instead of building them up. Then they wonder why the results they want never seem to show up. Here is the truth. Your words create your world. What you say to yourself, day after day, shapes your reality more than almost anything else. Think of it like planting seeds in a garden. If you plant seeds of doubt, fear, and negativity, the harvest will reflect that. You end up with limitations, hesitation, and missed opportunities. But when you plant seeds of confidence, possibility, and positivity, something different begins to grow. You create the conditions for progress, fulfillment, and success. That is what we are here to learn today, how to plant better seeds in your mind through positive self-talk. Now, some of you may be thinking this sounds too simple. How can changing the way you talk to yourself really make such a difference? The answer is simple, but it is also profound. Often, the most powerful truths in life are the simplest ones. Think about how many times you have talked yourself out of trying something new because that inner voice said you could not do it. Think about the opportunities you passed up because you convinced yourself you were not good enough, smart enough, or ready enough. That is the power of negative self-talk. It works slowly, like a quiet poison, eroding your confidence over time. But here's the good news. If negative self-talk can have that kind of effect, imagine what positive self-talk can do. When you begin speaking well to yourself consistently, even for just 3 days, you will start to notice changes. Your confidence begins to rise. Your energy improves. You take more action. You start saying yes to opportunities you once avoided. And it all begins with a decision. A decision to take control of your inner dialogue and make it work for you instead of against you. A decision to become your own source of encouragement and motivation. This does not mean it will feel natural right away. Old habits take time to change. If negative self-talk has been your pattern for years, speaking to yourself with kindness may feel uncomfortable at first. But like learning a new language, the more you practice, the more natural it becomes. And that is where real change begins. At first, it may feel awkward and self-conscious. But the more you practice, the more natural it becomes. Before you realize it, you begin to speak the language of self-empowerment with ease. So how do you make this shift in your self-talk, the kind that leads to real change? It starts with awareness. You have to become conscious of what you are saying to yourself throughout the day. Most people are so used to their inner chatter that they barely notice it anymore. It is always there, like background noise. But starting now, I want you to listen. Are you building yourself up, or slowly tearing yourself down? Once you become aware of your self-talk, the next step is to challenge it. When a negative thought appears, pause and ask yourself a few simple questions. Is this really true? Is this helping me or hurting me? What would I say to a friend if they were in this situation? Most of us offer encouragement and understanding to others, yet treat ourselves with harsh criticism. That needs to change. It is time to become your own ally instead of your own enemy. When you catch yourself speaking negatively, stop and reframe it. Turn the thought into something constructive. Instead of saying, I can't do this, try saying, this is challenging, but I am capable of figuring it out. Instead of, I'm not good enough, remind yourself, I am growing and improving every day. Some of you may wonder if this is just lying to yourself. It is not. Your mind believes what you tell it, so why not tell it something that empowers you? You are not ignoring reality. You are choosing to focus on possibility instead of limitation. Imagine facing a new challenge at work. The old response might be fear and self-doubt. But with positive self-talk, you begin to see it as an opportunity to learn and grow. You recognize your skills and experience, and you approach the situation with confidence. Which version of you is more likely to succeed? The answer is clear. When you speak well to yourself, you prepare your mind for success. You train it to look for solutions instead of problems, and that makes all the difference. When you begin to speak well to yourself, something important shifts. You stop seeing obstacles everywhere and start noticing opportunities. And here is the deeper truth. This is not only about achieving external success. Yes, positive self-talk can improve your performance at work, strengthen your relationships, and help you reach your goals. But it goes far beyond that. When you speak well to yourself, you nurture your self-esteem. You begin building a sense of self-worth that does not depend on approval, praise, or accomplishments. You learn to value yourself for who you are, not just for what you achieve. And that kind of inner foundation is priceless. Because when you truly value yourself, you become harder to stop. Fear of failure loses its grip. Fear of judgment fades. You feel freer to take risks, to pursue what matters to you, and to live on your own terms. Earlier, I mentioned committing to speaking well to yourself for 3 days. Why 3 days? Because short commitments are powerful. 3 days is long enough to notice change, yet short enough that it does not feel overwhelming. Think of it as a challenge. For the next 3 days, commit to being your own strongest supporter. Catch every moment of self-doubt and turn it around. Speak to yourself with kindness, encouragement, and belief in your potential. It may feel awkward at first. You might even feel a little uncomfortable. Stay with it. By the end of those 3 days, you will begin to notice changes. You may feel more confident. You may take action on things you have been avoiding. You may simply feel calmer and more at ease with yourself. And once you experience that shift, you will not want to return to the old way of thinking. Those 3 days can become the start of a lifelong habit, a new way of relating to yourself and the world. Now let us talk about practical ways to support this shift. Start your day intentionally. Before you even get out of bed, say something positive to yourself. It can be simple. You might say today is a good day to grow, or I am grateful for another chance to learn. This sets the tone for everything that follows. As the day continues, keep reinforcing that mindset. Another helpful practice is using affirmations, positive statements you repeat regularly, reminders that you are capable, learning, and moving forward. You might tell yourself things like, I am capable of handling whatever comes my way, or I am worthy of success and happiness. Now, I know some people feel skeptical about affirmations. They may sound unrealistic or even uncomfortable at first. But here's the truth. Affirmations work because they gradually retrain your mind. When you repeat something often enough, your brain begins to accept it. It becomes part of how you think, beneath the surface. That is why it matters to choose affirmations that truly resonate with you, especially in areas where you want to grow. Write them down. Place them somewhere you will see them throughout the day. Repeat them consistently. Yes, it may feel awkward at first, but stay with it. The results may surprise you. Another important part of speaking well to yourself is learning to celebrate your wins, even the small ones. Too often, we fixate on what went wrong and overlook what went right. But acknowledging your efforts, your progress, and your small victories is what builds momentum. At the end of each day, pause and reflect on something that went well. Maybe you made progress on a task. Maybe you had a meaningful conversation. Maybe you simply showed up on a difficult day. Whatever it is, acknowledge it. Tell yourself, I did well today. I am moving forward. This practice trains your mind to notice the positive and strengthens your belief in your own ability. Success builds on success. Now let us talk about setbacks, because they are unavoidable. When things do not go as planned, it is easy to fall back into negative self-talk. This is where your new habit matters most. Instead of criticizing yourself, respond with compassion. Say to yourself, this did not work out, but what can I learn from it? How can this help me grow? Failure is not the opposite of success. It is part of success. Every setback carries a lesson. When you speak to yourself this way, you recover faster and stay motivated even when things feel difficult. Another powerful tool is the way you ask questions. The questions you ask yourself shape what you focus on and how you act. Instead of asking, why does this always happen to me? Ask, what is useful about this situation? What is the next positive step I can take? Your mind will search for answers to whatever questions you give it. So choose questions that guide you toward solutions and growth. As you move through these 3 days of speaking well to yourself, remember to be patient. You may slip back into old patterns from time to time. That is normal. When it happens, do not criticize yourself. Simply notice it, reset, and keep going. That is how lasting change is built. When you notice yourself slipping back into negative self-talk, do not beat yourself up over it. Simply acknowledge it, correct it, and move forward. Say to yourself, I noticed that negative thought, and I am choosing a better one now. There is no need for guilt or frustration. Awareness alone is progress. This approach keeps you from getting stuck in self-criticism. Instead of turning one negative thought into a spiral, you stop it early and reset your focus. Each time you do this, you strengthen your ability to guide your own thinking. Over time, this becomes easier and more natural. Remember, the goal is not to be perfect. The goal is to be intentional. Every time you notice, adjust, and move on, you are reinforcing a healthier pattern. That is how change takes root, quietly, steadily, and with patience. If you believed in yourself the way truly successful people do, everything would begin to shift. Change does not happen overnight, but it does happen over time through consistent positive actions. Speaking well to yourself is one of the most powerful actions you can take. It is like laying a solid foundation for the life you want to build. Think of it this way. Every time you speak positively to yourself, you are making a deposit into your personal growth account. Every word of encouragement, every affirmation, every moment of self-compassion adds up. Over time, those deposits compound into confidence, self-esteem, and inner strength you can rely on when life gets challenging. As we bring this message to a close, I want to leave you with a simple challenge for the next 3 days. Become fully aware of your self-talk. Catch every negative thought and every moment of self-doubt, and consciously replace it with something supportive. When you look in the mirror, instead of focusing on flaws, find something to appreciate about yourself. When you face a challenge at work, replace "I can't do this" with "I have the ability to figure this out." When you make a mistake, stop criticizing yourself and remind yourself that you are learning and growing. When you feel discouraged, bring your attention back to your strengths, your past progress, and your inherent worth. Do this consistently for 3 days. Make it your priority. Be intentional and committed. At the end of those 3 days, pause and notice how you feel. Pay attention to changes in your mood, your energy, and your actions. If you truly commit, you will feel a difference. And once you experience that shift, you will not want to return to old patterns of thinking. This is the beginning of a new relationship with yourself, one built on kindness, encouragement, and belief in your potential. From that foundation, there are no limits to what you can achieve. Remember, your words create your world. Choose them carefully. Speak to yourself with the same care and belief you offer to those you love. You have great potential within you. You have the power to shape the life you want, and it all starts with how you speak to yourself. Let these 3 days mark the beginning of a new chapter, one filled with self-belief, positivity, and growth. Speak well to yourself, and watch how your life begins to change. I wish you good health, happiness, and peace on your journey. And do not forget to subscribe to Mindset Daily so we can continue growing together.